So, you've taken a keen interest in nature and wildlife, and you're wondering where are the best places to find animals in Singapore besides your regular crows and miners and pigeons. Wow. Bless me. In this video, I'll be sharing the top 5 places that you can spot wildlife here in Singapore and also sharing some tips on how you can find these animals. Now, a bit about my background. I'm a wildlife photographer based in Singapore, and this list is actually based off my own personal experience photographing wildlife here for the past 8 years. All the photos and video clips that you're about to see is taken by me. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1 on this list, Sungai Bulo Wetland Reserve. Now, this is the place for both beginners and experts alike. It is a fairly large mangrove reserve with easy to walk trails. This is also where you see Singapore's apex predator, the saltwater crocodile. Now, there are quite a number of them in this reserve, ranging from really tiny ones to big ones. And the best time to spot them is to come when the tide is low. Here, you can also find many local and migratory birds. For migratory birds, you should come during the months between October to March, as this is when they are resting along their migratory route. Watch out for the various species of snakes that we have in this reserve. Now, for most of the snakes that reside here, they are actually found below waist level, so be sure to check out the low-lying bushes and plants. In here, you can also find some of the largest monitor lizards in Singapore. Now, these lizards particularly enjoy warm, sunny weather, so be sure to see them when you come on a warm, sunny day. Next on the list is Pasir Ris Park. Located on the east of Singapore, this huge park attracts large crowds, but make no mistake, the wildlife here is able to coexist harmoniously with the number of people that come and visit the park. Most notably, the areas around car park C and D boast owls like the buffyfish owl as well as the spotted wood owl, as well as various other birds and raptors. As there is a restaurant right beside the car park, these birds of prey are actually attracted to the plentiful prey like rats that frequent around this eating place. Near car park B is a mangrove boardwalk where you can view species like mangrove snakes as well as mangrove birds. As always, going during low tide will offer you the best chance to view these different animals. Third, we have Bishan Ang Mo Kio Park. There is a small river that meanders through the park all the way to downtown Singapore, and we can see wildlife like otters that frequent this river. Many birds can also be seen here, but you'll have to be extra attentive in order to spot them. Look out for water bodies like the river or ponds, and there is bound to be something interesting that you will see there. Fourth, the Central Catchment Nature Reserve. Now, this is a very large forested area in the center of Singapore and covers many different parks, so I'll be talking about them as a whole. Now, the reason I've placed forest as the highest level of difficulty 5 out of 5 to spot wildlife is because of the denseness of the trees and plants. But you'll find many unique species of animals here in the forest that you don't get to see in other areas of Singapore. To spot a mouse deer, the best chance is to go in the early morning or late afternoon. Now, these animals are very skittish, so you have to walk slowly and quietly. Look out for open areas and scan very attentively. They blend very well into their surroundings, and most of my sightings is from spotting their movement. One animal that is difficult to find is the Raffles-banded langur. These monkeys are black in color, and there are just over 60 individuals here in Singapore. You'll have to scan very attentively in the treetops and the canopies and watch out for their movements. When you walk in the forest, you'll definitely hear some interesting bird calls. One of the more common birds that you get to see is the racket-tailed drongo. These birds have 2 tail extensions and make very loud calls, which makes them very noticeable. Snakes are probably one of the most difficult species to find in the reserve, but there is a surprising large diversity of them here in Singapore. Now, one of the most common snakes that you'll see is the waggler's pit viper, and they are usually found below waist level, so look out for low-lying shrubs or plants. Finally, you can also find the largest terrestrial mammal here in our forest, the sambar deer. As there is estimated to be less than 20 of them here in Singapore, you'll need a lot of luck to be able to spot one. The last place I would recommend is actually the first place I think beginners should start with, their own neighborhood. You'd be surprised to know that a large variety of animals have actually adapted very well to urban living. In fact, in my estate alone, I have seen many animals that have called my estate home. To find these animals, you'll need to have a keen eye and pay close attention to the sounds around you. To find out more about my experience photographing animals in my neighborhood, click on the link down below. Singapore may not be like other countries, with their megafauna or charismatic animals like tigers or polar bears or pandas, but we do have some very special animals here that are endemic to our country. But I should point out that wildlife spotting is never easy. It's not like the zoo where the animals are out there in plain sight for you to view. In the wild, these animals do have to be out of plain sight to hide, to camouflage, and to be stealthy in order to have a better chance of survival. The best practice I always preach is to be very slow and deliberate when trying to spot wildlife. No loud noises, no distractions, and eventually, I am sure you'll be able to see something cool for yourself. That's all for now. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more wildlife and photography content.